Hello, friends. Welcome back. Or if you are new here, welcome. Our small Ozark town recently got some snow and promptly shut down, so we were able to enjoy some nice, cozy winter days together. We ended up not getting as many inches as they were originally expecting, which was nice. However, the wind and the cold kind of kept the snow around a little longer than it usually sticks around. These cozy winter days, I think, are such a great reminder to take pause and really enjoy the little things that you have with your family. So, we started with some crafts while it was busy snowing outside. My kids have really been enjoying these yogurt bowls. They have them probably most mornings. It's just a little bit of vanilla yogurt. Some of my kids like honey drizzled on it, some don't. They kind of like a variety of things. This one was Lincoln's bowl, and he wanted vanilla yogurt, a drizzle of honey. He wanted some fresh bananas, some oats and honey granola on top. And then he wanted some of the fruit from one of the packs that I buy and put in the freezer. They're the Better Goods. This one was a pineapple mango one, and it had little pieces of, it was ginger juice, but because they're frozen, they were kind of stuck together with chia seeds. And he really, really enjoyed this. My daughter, she often likes to load up her yogurt bowls as well and adds this plus anything else she can find. Theo usually isn't as adventurous with his yogurt bowls. He just likes a little bit of yogurt with bananas and granola. That's how he enjoys eating it every morning. I often get asked about this activity that I do with my kids for school. Um, I often use it with sight words for language arts. However, you can use it for really anything. If your kid is working on colors or numbers or letters, it is a great tool to use for that as well. What I do is I write his sight words that he's currently working on and some of the ones that he mastered that might have been trickier. I write them on note cards and then I put them around the living room, usually creating some kind of a path. And then me or another kid will end up saying a word, and then Theo will either jump to them or skip to them, hop to them, whatever he wants to do. And it just shows that he is able to learn his sight words. And so it is really great practice if you're working on something like that, or like I said, something else like numbers or letters works really great too. A while back, I was prepping some things for our pantry, and one of the things that I prepped was this big mason jar of hot cocoa mix. I didn't really know how it was going to turn out because I have never done anything like that before, and the recipe was so simple, but it ended up being a huge favorite of my kids's. So I am finishing off the jar of hot cocoa mix and making the boys some hot cocoa after we were just playing in the snow. I will locate the recipe for this hot cocoa mix though and put it in the description box below if you would like to try it. It was done snowing at this point. Usually we have pretty high temperatures after a snow, and the snow does not end up lasting very long. We're usually only stuck in our house just a couple of days. This time we again we're only stuck in our house a couple of days because it didn't snow as much as we expected it to. But with the temperatures being as low as they were, we were in the negatives. So it stuck around a little longer. The roads were fairly clear at this point. We still had snow on the ground, and the roads were a little icy in some spots, but the sun had worked its wonders and melted a lot of what was on the roads. So, we are going to be venturing out a little bit today after being cooped up for a couple of days. I can definitely get some fresh air out of the house, and I know the kids can too. So, we are going to go to the library and spend some time there, and then do a little bit of thrift shopping. First, I am going to be using up some of this Amish milk bread. It is a couple days older, so it is getting a little harder, and I'm wanting to make a fresh batch. So, to use this up, I am making a French toast bake. I have been making this recipe for a couple of months now. I had talked to my mother in law about this, I think around Christmas time, and I believe I gave it a try for Christmas morning. It is so much easier to do it this way in like a casserole dish than it is when you're just doing individual slices of bread, which I kind of have done my whole life basically. I don't know why I never really thought of this, but either she saw it on the internet or maybe I saw it too. I can't really remember. But it got us talking, and I ended up trying it in a casserole dish instead, and it worked so much easier. So, if you and your family enjoy French toast, I highly suggest doing it in a casserole dish. It is so much easier and it is still very delicious. This is a super simple recipe. You'll just melt some butter in a dish. I like to put it all in one dish, so I'll do it in a big dish. You'll put 1 cup of brown sugar, 4 eggs, some cinnamon, and vanilla. and then some milk or cream. You'll stir that all together, and you'll slice the bread in really thick slices. If you have store-bought like thinner slices, that's totally fine too. But I am using the leftovers of our Amish milk bread, so I cut them in very thick slices, and then I have them to fit into the dish a little better. And then I'll pour this mixture over top of all of it, and I let it soak a little bit before I actually put it in the oven to get the pieces to really absorb the mixture that you put on. I baked it at about 350 for about 30 minutes. Just kind of take it out and see if it is the consistency that you're wanting. And then I don't use the individual pieces. I kind of just cut it like you're cutting a cake and serve it that way in little imperfect slices. You'll notice that some of the pieces are a little crunchier and some are softer. It is really a wonderful recipe. I'm going to finish up this casserole and we're going to enjoy a nice warm breakfast at home before we head out for the afternoon. We had the library almost completely to ourselves. The boys loved it. They don't usually play the computer games, but because there was like no other kids, they were able to have a decent turn on the computers today. And then they searched around and we got a pretty big stack of books that we brought home. We headed over to the thrift store and I found a couple of really cool finds that I'm going to share with you. This was one of them. And then I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't end up getting this bed frame because it was beautiful and huge and it was only $4.99. I couldn't believe it. I could have put it upstairs in my guest room, but I ended up not getting it because I didn't think it would fit in the car that we brought. So I didn't end up getting it, but I did kick myself a little bit for it. These were some of the things that I did end up getting though. The red stickers were half price this week, so I ended up getting this green basket. It was $2.99. I got it $1.50, and I thought it was a really great size for like toys for the boys. They have a lot of like Legos and stuff like that. And then I got this basket. It was not a red sticker, but it was in great shape, and I figured I could use it again for some storage. I have never seen one of these little chairs in this color or that holds plants. So it was, again, not a red sticker, but I could not pass it up. So I did end up getting that. It came with some fake greenery, but I'm not sure if I'll end up using that or what I'll end up doing with it. I found this stack of plates. I believe there was like 6 or 8 of them, and they were red stickered, so they were only like $2.50 for the whole stack, and they were in wonderful condition, and we could use some new plates, so I got those. I love getting books from thrift stores. These ones were pretty good price, and I loved how pretty they were. That one was actually about making your home a really positive place, so I thought that was interesting. And I love the color of this book. I didn't even look at any of it. I also love the art that was on the inside. It was like a picture of a heart with flowers. And then as I was kind of reading more into it after I got home, I thought, well, that actually does sound like a pretty interesting book. We found this 100-piece vintage puzzle. I thought it was so cool. And it was red stickered, so it was only $1. And so we are pretty excited about starting that. We got another puzzle. It was not a red sticker, but I thought it was a really pretty picture. Now, these things were not from the thrift store. They were from Goodwill. My boys needed some more watercolors, so I ended up picking up a big pack of watercolors from Five Below. And then I got them this coloring book for the watercolors because I found that the pages were really thick. They had a couple different ones, and I ended up getting the ocean printed ones. They really love fish and all that kind of stuff about the ocean. So I thought it would be a really good find for them. And like I said, the pages were extra thick so they can paint with the watercolors. And then I also found this at Five Below. It is a 3D pop-up board, and it's like a search game. We haven't played this, but this is on our to-do list probably today. We're very excited about playing that game together. Anyway, that is the thrift haul and some of the stuff that we found from Five Below. But we are back home and making some bread, getting it going for the week ahead of us. We have a pretty decently busy week ahead of us for school extracurriculars, so I am making sure that I have plenty of bread going for the week. And the fireplace is a perfect place to get the bread rising. These are 2 more loaves of the Amish milk bread. My family really enjoys it. It's a little sweeter, almost like a Hawaiian loaf. I don't usually put melted butter on my other like normal white sandwich bread, but I do it a couple of times. I'll spread the butter on before I bake it, and then when it is done baking, I will put a little bit more on top immediately out of the oven. Here's how the bread turned out. I put butter on the top, and then I put a towel over it to kind of make the crust a little softer so it's not so hard and it is easier to cut into. We had some of this with our dinner this night. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for spending the day with me. I hope this video gave you a little pause and you were able to enjoy some of your winter days too. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.